To the YouTube. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. I am with the illustrious Misha Safran. I was going to totally smush it all together. And she is a singer, songwriter, amazing coach and advocate for so many of us. And so I'm so glad for her to be with us today, exploring her voice and seeing the other possibilities of what wants to happen. And so good to have you, Misha. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. If I was going to be vulnerable to somebody, it would be with you. So it's okay. I'm going
Aw.
to be all right.
I am so honored. Like the people that have decided to join, like I really feel like it's the highest compliment. Like I know how I am, and I know if it was me in the same seat, that it would be really difficult for me to do this, and it would have to be something exceptionally special. So I'm taking it as the highest of compliments.
Indeed, indeed, indeed.
Yes. So thank you so much. And I appreciate your courage and vulnerability and willingness to experiment with us for everybody's benefit. Because the more we do this in public, then we learn from each other, you know?
Absolutely. I have a lot
So
of people who tell me they can't sing, and I'm like, actually, you can. You just might not like the sound of it. So
I
it's
like that.
practicing and being willing to talk about it and try it and do it. And it's the same like with all the different stigmas in the world. People don't talk about depression. People don't talk about this. It's like just talk about it, and it won't be so hard. So I'm going to try to prove that just singing it won't be so hard.
Just won't be so hard. Well, and that's the thing is like if we're willing, essentially what we're saying, where we're willing to have vulnerable conversations, is that that we're willing to be vulnerable,
Yes.
And wrong until we are aware and right.
Yeah.
And just that flexibility of experimentation is really a huge step for a lot of us in our visibility and confidence in public, because it can't always be perfect, folks. It's not. I don't care how good you are. It's not always going to be perfect. I don't care how much you practice. It's not always going to be perfect. And especially as artists and
Yeah.
creatives, we will always want something better, because
Yeah.
that's what we aspire to, more beauty. And that's something to be proud of and not to hold ourselves back for, right? Like we know it can be better, but that doesn't mean people can't enjoy where we are.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would
So
even say that I don't think there is a right and a wrong necessarily. I feel
yeah.
more that it's just either where we want it or not where we want it. And we just keep plugging away.
Exactly. Yes, I love that. So just as we started before, we're going to start with the breath outward. And this time we're just going to be more of our subtle awareness just on how our bodies are feeling. Is anything warming up? What's moving? What's relaxing as we follow our breath? Okay. So breathing all the way out. And S's, sinking deep into the earth and breathing back in from the earth to the lower belly, below the belly button. And just letting the belly flap open and just see if you feel the warmth coming in or any movement. And breathing all the way out. Just again, noticing around that area as we let go to breathe in. And I always find the place where I kind of want to move a little, so that I always notice that something's a little more tense than the rest of the body, right? When the breath is moving, you realize, oh, this is still in the same place. Oh, let me relax that, right? And that's what we want, access to the full body when we're witnessing. We have access to the full body, including the auric field, then we have access to our full voice. Okay. And there's more available in all the ways. So when we do it this time, as we breathe out, I want us to pay attention to right here. Right now, I'm just below it, but our vocal cords are here. And I like to think always lower than, because we always think everything's up here. Everything is in our head. But no, it's like, no, it's down here. And the vocal cords. So when we breathe out, let's just see if we notice anything around this area. And that includes all the way to the back of the body, breathing all the way out. And then releasing, breathing in from the earth to the lower belly. So if we feel anything move around up in there?
Up in there. Well, it's interesting. I did feel it get warmer. But yeah, I don't know that I felt anything behind or back, but definitely down here, I feel like I got a little warmer.
Beautiful, beautiful. So whenever I feel a little bit of warmth here, I know I'm ready to go. Maybe not fully warmed up, obviously, but like I'm ready to make some sound. If I'm getting like coldness or like even like a little stress or like I can barely feel it, that may be an indicator that I need to do maybe some breath work first, maybe even warm up my body, do some exercise first, like or more breaths, more breaths to get that energy flowing.
Okay.
Okay. So once we have a little bit of movement, then we can follow that warmth and we can follow like the ease of that breath outward when we start making sound. So the first sound we're going to make is ah behind M. So we always need a vowel, even when our mouth's closed, if we're wanting to make sound intentionally. Okay. So, oh, just wherever it lands is fine. And I have a really low voice, so you can find something more comfortable or wherever it wants to land. Yeah. And then we're warming up. We never want to over direct the voice. In other words, we don't want to be like, hit this note. It's a good way to build up tension because the body's not ready. You're not connected. It's the timing's off. Everything gets worse from there. Okay. What we want to do is kind of ease into it so that we don't shut anything down through tension on the way there, right? Including ourselves, our brains, our minds, our mindset. So just do a sigh, like wherever, a little higher, a little lower is fine. Yeah, good. And then as we go, we're just allowing more sound possibilities. This next set of sounds are characteristic, but they are giving us our parameters. What I call parameters is like how our voice does a sound. Okay. And we're going to start with the same feeling, breath outward, full release. And the vowel is ah. And we're going to start with the chest voice. The chest voice often wants to be used more so that it's not dragging into our upper register. We don't do a ton of it, but we do enough that it's active and connected, and our timing can be immediate. It's really one of the best results from this. Okay. So, breath, release.
No.
It's close. It's close.
Wait, am I supposed to inhale and then exhale and then do the sound, or am I doing the sound on the exhale?
Oh, yeah. So let me explain. So breath outward is the same breath we need to sing.
Okay, so but I have to inhale first in order to get that breath outward. Okay.
Yeah, and the inhale will be automatic. It's part of the body's timing. Okay. So as soon as you tell the body, we're going to do ah now, right? The body's going to go to get ready. Okay. And that's your breath in, right? So as you're breathing out, ah, like this, ah, right?
Okay.
So a little bit lower because that one's not as easy. So, yeah. Did you feel that? It's like really quick, but that's what we want. Because if we're overstuffing ourselves with breath, then we're causing tension.
Okay.
Right. And that deep breath is
Ah,
actually deeper. It's gonna actually go in deeper, especially after we breathe out. So it's actually a lot of air really fast. You can't even track it,
okay.
right? But the body, if we allow it, will always breathe as much as is needed for what you intend. The same way you don't plan on how you're going to say a sentence in a conversation because you don't even know what words you're using it. You still have enough breath. You're not going to run out of breath. If we're
Okay.
running out of breath, it's because of tension or an unclear vowel is inefficient. Okay. So,
Uh,
yeah, it's ugly. We were doing ugly on purpose. I know, it's weird. It's a
okay.
characteristic sound.
Uh,
Yeah, but we want to, much like in life, like if we don't hit all the spectrum of sound, then it comes out when we don't ask for it.
well, I laughed because it got cut off. Like
Yeah,
I just said, no, I'm not putting anything else out there. I was like, well, that was weird. What's going on here?
that's interesting. So that's cool. That's something to note. But it is. It can be like a nerve response sometimes. We're like, yeah, no, that's what we want to do. And you're like, really? Okay. Yeah. So let's try it again. Let's see if we can do that again.
I feel like
Yeah, and
goat.
so it release to start. I know we are a little goaty here. Release to start, release to finish. So release to say and then release to go back to breath because you know the sound is just the vowel. So since we stop saying the vowel, it's only breath. So there's no sound. But we can't really stop it. If we stop it, then it interferes with whatever we started. Right? So we just go following the cycle. Back to breath. Good. Yeah. Yeah. So you really want to lead with the breath. That way it's not heavy, right? And the other thing is that we want just like a really clear, like you're teaching kindergartens, going down the vowels, so to speak, right? They're going to do the other characteristic sound. Again, may not ever use this in singing, but it's something that builds the vocal cords, as far as not vocal cords, but a little bit, but mostly the muscles around them.
I don't know that I heard you. It cut out.
Oh, sorry. Let me turn on the original sound. So you might
Yeah, I
have
just
to fix
realized I
this
probably need
one.
to do that too, huh?
Yeah. So I probably should send directions for that because I keep
I
having
I
this
know how to
little.
do it, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like a hooty owl. It's not necessarily a song sound. Not that you will never use it, but it could. You could use it. But most of the time we're not going and pooh when in our songs. Okay. So
I don't know.
so
That might be an inspiration now for my next song.
that's my
Ah,
point. Now it's
ah,
available. Now
ah.
people will walk out feeling stimulated, aligned, and ready for the world. I promise. There's so many like correlations with these choices that I make with these. And so yeah, so this one, it's just moving on that side and releasing back to earth at the bottom. I cut mine off a little bit, but if you release fully through the body, then it'll just go back to breath when we're done. Yeah, you feel that's like just straight down. It's telling us how the breath feels actually, right? Instead of what we think is supposed to be doing, which is going that way for the peoples, right? It's actually very self-centered. The movement, right? It's aligned to the spine and the body. And if we come too far off of that, it's usually when we're losing power and it's accessibility to sound, notes, different resonances, like, colors of sound, essentially, right? So we want access for the full thing. So we're doing the extremes so we know how the blends can happen, right? Woo. Yeah. Woo. Yeah, slidey, slidey. Woo. Yeah. So
Okay.
we don't go down with our throats. We go down by attention. We hear it, essentially. There you go. You see how it's clearer?
Yeah.
And we're starting to run into some kind of vocalized sound, but that's kind of natural because we're using more muscle than normal. This is actually more work for our body's muscles than the next thing we're going to
Okay.
do. Yeah, you feel how the muscles are like, so that's telling you how much air we need to do things easily.
Okay.
And we always think we have to back off of air, and our middle section of our voice is the exact opposite. And it's usually where we get pitchy and inconsistent in general. But also just like not without the power, without the power in that register that we have full access to when we're yelling at people. So what's the problem, right? Like, so.
Goodness, I have been yelling in a long time.
However, projection is necessary. Um, so whenever we're projected, like it starts first in the body, right? It is a very self-centered, self-generated. So this is how we create that sense of like, where does that come from? Because otherwise it feels like we're pushing against nothing. And then we kind of overcorrect for that, right? And then we outblow our low nose, this kind of thing. I can't be the only one. Okay. So no trauma experiences here. All right. So
Clearly
like,
not.
clearly. So that's what's usually happening. There's not enough breath flow. We're not relaxed enough to access how much the body wants to move to let that happen easily, naturally, right? We'll do a couple more just so we can feel it.
Okay. You want to play it again?
Yeah. And the more we slide, the more control we have. When we can intentionally move through a slide, then what's our ability is like this ability to track that entire movement and all of its changes without being so focused that we tense up and stop, right? Or like be like, I just want the outcome. I just need the outcome. I just need the outcome, which is usually the final note, right? Or the highest note. Our sopranos like the high notes. Kidding. We're always focused on the wrong thing because the movement's more important than the destination. We know this, right?
Yep.
Poo.
Ooh.
Yeah. Poo.
Ooh.
Yeah. So as soon as we start, the vocal cords start, right? And in order for that to happen, there has to be a vowel. So what's happening right now is that we're saying P and then the vowel. Poo. It's just a little late, and so we lose track of it a little bit and we lose power. Okay? Poo.
Ooh. Oh.
Yeah. Poo. Yeah. Again. Poo. Good.
Sound like a cat screaming in the mating season. No, okay. Sorry, just
You
trying to
sound
add
like a
humor.
hootie owl. It's just extravagant, slightly exotic hootie owl. Whatever.
Okay, all right.
So
Owl, you're right. A wise owl. Maybe I go back to the last conversation we had. There is a right and a wrong. It's an owl.
yeah, like exactly.
Not
And
a
what I love to say, my kind of statement on that is always like, you never know when you're going to need that sound. So don't make it wrong,
No,
right? Like we could use it maybe someday for a reason. For being, It could happen. Like that outfit in the back of the closet. You're like, I look sexy in it. It could happen. Like, so probably
Right.
not, but it could happen. All right. So when we're doing these, as long as we're in connection to a full release, we're in connection to the amount of air that allows us to get to note easily. Okay. If you're really allowing the body to relax, then it's exactly what the body will do and will have, and when we do the note on purpose, right? This is like characteristic, but there's an on purpose version too, right? Poo! Good.
Oh, I
Yeah.
controlled that one. I was trying to control
But
that.
you feel that, right?
Yeah.
That's why that you keep going, because that's what it turns into. If we let that keep going down that I know this note, I know where to finish, like
Right.
that whole thing, then
Yep.
it just becomes two notes.
Yep.
But that's how we get to sound. Like, and people think, oh, I just aim harder, I'll hit the note. But no, it's a sigh. It's always a sigh. It's just a matter of how much of the sigh are we aware of in the spectrum. Like, are we actually vocalizing on the vowel, right? So, because the breath is always moving out and it's always going through. It's literally how the voice is built, right? It's always a sigh. So this time we're going to do more rhythmic movements. It's also a direction the body needs. So that's what we're kind of stepwising. What are the first things the body picks up and what are the last? I'm sorry, what is your timing again? You said you had to do something else.
I have a client at 4:30. I'm good for right
You're
now.
good for now?
Let
Okay.
me double check. But, yep.
Okay. So, so this is the exercise. We're laughing. It's an ah, and that's what we're mostly focused on is the sound of ah. And then H is just the aspiration of the breath moving through to the earth. Yeah. So as we go, the more release, the more less we'll have that I call feedback. If that breath goes back to the vocal cord, it's going to cause that kind of thing. But, if we just release back to the earth instead of creating that second movement, which is kind of what we were learning on that last exercise, we don't have to do it again. We just have to continue to say ah. Yeah. And the other one, we don't have to do it again. We just have to continue to say ooh. The brain gets that to the vocal cords in 1/64th of a second. It does need to be repeated. Your intention to do the note does not. The body already knows what the sound is, right? We don't have to repeat that, but we do have to repeat the vowel if you want to be accurate, okay? Good. Here is where we're going to start tripling. So it sounds like. You see how your head's kind of bouncing up? So we think we have to go up, but that actually puts more stress on the vocal cords.
Yeah, I know.
So we actually, if anything, and always, we want to go down.
Okay.
Right? That's how you think down when we're breathing out. That's how you think down, right? So even when we're going up, we're thinking down. Finish to the earth. Yeah, but you notice that it's smoothing out, right? And then you get to trust that the body will take the timing as an instruction. If we trust it, then we'll let it to move to do the instruction. Okay? Like it's a little harder for me to, but even here, I'm in no way still.
Yeah.
Because my body has to go like this to do that, right? So if we're holding ourselves still, then it's not able to be as accurate. Does that make sense?
So do I want my body to move or I don't want my body to move?
You do want your body to move. You want to be so flexible. You want to be move. You want to be, what do they call it? Flowy. That. You want to be flowy.
Okay.
You want to do that. And then the earth will hold us up. The spine will connect to the chair, to the earth, to the thing. It'll hold us
Thing.
up.
All right.
You see how like kind of flippant I'm being? I'm like, yeah. So again, if we don't keep forcing it in different areas, then the whole thing will be available the whole time. Is that what we're saying?
My turn.
Yeah. Yeah. So back to breath. Well, even again out the vibrato. I know most people don't like a ton of vibrato. Sometimes mine sneaks in because I'm, bel canto trained, but or I'm cheating. So that could happen. I'm like, I don't really feel like using my whole body right now. Um, but yeah, so as we go, I missed it, but that's okay. Yeah. And so as we go, the body will find the point. So if we let it be freer, then it'll give us more accuracy. That's why I'm used to not like fixing my notes, because if I have to fix it, I'm not warmed up. Okay? I want it to naturally find it. And the more it's doing that, the less I have to do. That's what being warmed up is, right? It's getting to things easily and comfortably. Yeah, one more. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, I forget I have a singer in front of me because usually I have to do it. Otherwise, people don't. They won't sing.
Well,
They'll
I'm
be
trying.
like, I don't know what to do. But like
I'm a singer,
it's
but I
hard.
don't have formal background. So,
Yeah, but
so
there's
some
this
of the things
kind
you
of.
say, I'm like, I don't know this.
Well, that's why it's going so well, folks. Have you noticed the people that know it takes them longer? Yeah. So, what we think we know
Yes,
is not
I've
always
got a
useful.
clean slate. I'm not fighting you.
Yeah, and so that's what we want, and and what I want you to kind of take away with this is like kind of like where we are. Number one, we're up to the higher F, like F above C, right? And so, and just know like from past experience, like how much fear, nervousness, possibility felt like F before, and as compared to this exercise. Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I know I'm a soprano alto, like I have a pretty crazy range, but I think I do get nervous as I try to pay attention to going to that high note. And so I think what
Yeah.
you're saying, as far as like just letting it go and letting it land, will serve
Yeah.
me a lot better than trying to shoot for the destination.
Yeah. So, and then anytime we feel like our bodies are locking up or it's getting harder,
Mhm,
then this is what we have to remember, that how easy it can be, how
mhm.
much breath it takes for it to be easy. Right?
Yeah.
Kind of the two kind of takeaways there. So, do you have anything you want to sing for us? Or anything that you want to even bring into, like, say, maybe I want to do something different here, but what does that look like? What would it look like for me to do it differently, or like this person's voice, or something to that effect?
Um, so that's a good question. I mean, I have a lot of songs that I've written, but I feel like I just want to feel like I can just sing like
Yeah?
any song. Like I was watching America's Great Got Talent or whatever, and these little people, 9 years old, 11 years old, 8 years old, singing "She's on Fire." This girl's on fire, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, you're good. I want
Yeah.
to I want to be able to just kind of blurt it out and feel good about
Wow.
what comes out. And
See?
even my partner, she always says, just do it. Like when you just let go, it sounds great. But she can tell I'm holding on and I'm nervous about like singing it louder or singing it more fully. Um,
Yes.
I get
And
locked in.
that's where we're finding, right? What's scary about that is that we don't know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
But, and that's kind of what we are talking about before we came on. Like when we don't know, when we have that unknown, then it's really hard to confidently get into it. But if we haven't allowed ourselves to have that experience, then how do we know how it happens? And so, what I help people to do is to let go and see what happens, right? And so, what I want to ask you, my first question that comes up when you're like so amazingly clear on how you describe these stories,
And
is
this
like,
was not planned.
this was not planned. What is like, why not? Like, why not just try it, right?
Yeah.
So let's find some lyrics. We can do this in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Where's your lyrics thing? Let's see. I'm doing this. Girl. What is that song called? Girl is on fire.
I
Oh,
think so. This
that's
girl
what she
is
keeps.
on fire. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty amazing. I mean, I don't know the song very well. I just listened to it twice.
You don't know it very well? No? Do you
No,
want to do a different song?
I
I
don't
like
know.
this
It's
song.
the only song that came to mind. I mean, I've got
Yeah.
lots of different songs, but I'm not. That's the problem. I spent so much time in the pandemic writing my own music that I didn't practice anybody else's.
Well, that sounds like we can do one of your songs, girl, especially if you know that you want to do it in something like this. Like if you know you want that kind of strength in any of your songs, it'd be nice to see what it would be like to like have that kind of strength in one
Yeah,
of your
okay.
songs.
My guitar's not tuned, but and I don't know how to. Let's see my lyrics. Um. All
So
right.
yeah.
It'll be easier. Let me just grab my guitar real quick.
Okay.
I don't think it's tuned, so I'm gonna mute for a second.
Yeah. So actually, tuning. That's always one of the first current questions I ask my clients. What song do you wish you could sing? Which in my teacher's brain, I'm like, this is not even a real question. But and what I'm asking for is like, is this kind of song like what song you're like, oh yeah, no, I don't know, right? That kind of feeling about, because if you want to sing it, you can, right? And so it's just a matter again, like having enough experiences to find out how your body does that, because all of our bodies do these things in their own way. But the voice works one way physiologically, which is what my exercises are built on. And then they're building your awareness of how your voice does the different sounds as well. And so, um, and again, like kind of what's coming up. What's coming up. So if we're always getting into like this breathy sound and we keep kind of reverting to that, but we want to be able to be strong sometimes, then there's kind of this question, well, are you getting more affirmation around being light and fluffy and having pretty sounds than you are for your strength and your power and what the full extent of what you can do? Then that's a habit we're going to have a new experience around. Okay. And so yeah, so these are kind of the things that come up when we're talking about vocal strength. What's
All right.
You got it? You got
Yeah.
it? All
So,
right.
so the challenge is, I think it's a very powerful, meaningful song, and while it needs to have some kind of quiet, I want the power to come through when I sing it. I want to sing it boldly.
Yes. Well, play at least, the beginning and refrain type of thing. Um, and like kind of just show us how it's going and then tell us what you want more of.
Okay. So I'll just do the first two chorus, two verse and chorus, just that one little stanza.
Sounds good.
Can you hear the guitar okay?
Perfect.
Okay. Sit here by my window, see all the same things. Lush green trees and purple flowers, then there's my fantasy. A world where all will love and live in joyous harmony. Such a peaceful place which holds on is to you and to me. Am I willing to change my life? Am I willing to say that's enough? Am I willing to help you thrive? Am I willing to speak up to save a life? Am I willing to?
Beautiful. Yes. So the where are the places where you know you want more strength?
At the beginning of the first of the phrase,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I get into it, but I don't come in with it.
Uh-huh.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I feel like I can't remember anything else.
Yeah. It happens. So it's the fun of voice and music. Like literally you write everything. And so you're just like, oh, what are we doing? Did I say something? Okay.
Yeah.
So so in the beginning, I want you to tell me the first word, maybe the first word and like sing the first three notes, right? So yeah, the lead in and how that goes.
So the first word is I, which is a
Yeah.
vowel, but it's I. And then I sit here by my window.
Okay. So part of what's going on here is the words, right? So like certain vowels show up in different ways. And our traditional aspect of American English to say I is I. I.
I.
And that's not,
Aye, Captain.
it's like it's eaten and slightly nasal. It's not a full sound, is what I'm trying to say. And so what we want is to think of it as a diphthong. I, I. Say that.
I.
I,
I.
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 There you go. You see how your
I.
body sat you back?
What's that?
Your body sat you back.
It did, didn't
You're
it?
like, oh, and I have to get, the body
I.
knows. Yeah. So a part of what's happening is that you're over the guitar to do the thing, right? So you know how that works. Bring it to you, yeah? And then I at the vocal cord. Say that again.
Okay. I.
You
Get
feel your belly
fast.
moving?
What happened
You
here?
feel the belly moving? When the belly moves, we're connected enough for power.
Okay.
If the belly's not moving, especially on the first note, like what happens is kind of how I think of it. Like for me, I have a really big voice. It literally means I'm gonna be off pitch. Like I don't get that option, right? Like so, you want to feel it. I,
I.
yeah. If you can feel it, they can. It's one of my favorite things to say. If you can feel it, they can feel it, right?
Sit. Oh, now I just
You
canceled the
see
I
it?
altogether. I didn't even say the I.
Yeah, but the habit, as soon as you start, is to go this way. It's off the
Oh, is that what I
body
did?
with the, yeah.
Oh, how funny.
So we want to retrain that habit to come back to the body, breath outward. Yeah.
I sit here by my window. So I sit here so it's I.
Yeah.
I sit.
You don't have to be able to track it. Just think it.
Okay.
I sit here, I sit here, I sit here by my window. Yeah.
I sit here by my window, see all the same things. Lush green trees and purple flowers. Then there's my fantasy. A world where all will love and live in joyous harmony. Such a peaceful place which holds on, yes, to you and to me. Am I willing to? Yeah, that feel. Am I doing it differently?
Yeah, it's definitely stronger. And so I want you to lean into it. And leaning in means leaning back. I'm sitting by. Yeah. Through the perineum, through the floor. I make
Sounds
weird
like
sounds so you know how it
labor.
feels.
That was like my labor sound. Wild woman, baby coming.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, why not? We're talking about serious shit here, folks.
Okay.
Like, let's give it some oomph, yeah?
I sit here by. Oh, I went out again.
Saw it?
Okay.
I sit here, I sit here, I sit here.
I sit here by my window, see all the same things. Lush green trees and purple flowers. Then there's my fantasy. A world where all will love and live in joyous harmony. Such a peaceful place which holds on, yes, to you and to me. Am I willing to change my life? Am I willing to say that's enough? Am I willing to help you thrive? Am I willing to speak up to save a life? Am I willing to?
Oh my God,
Better?
shivers. Oh my God, yes. So amazing. So beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes, I love it so much. People, go listen to Misha's beautiful music.
People, come see Monifa for vocal help.
Hopefully this was useful for you, and that if you have any more questions, you will come find me too. And if anybody's learning and watching and you have more questions, just put them in the comments so we can keep learning together. And I don't want to hold you much longer, so I'm going to let Misha move to her next event, and I will see everybody next time.
All right. Bye. Thank you, Monifa.
You're welcome. Oh, now it's doing it. I don't know why it's doing this to me. Oh, let me see the off button.